Пришло время вернуться и сделать еще одно небольшое прохождение Slay the Princess. Глава 1. Герой и принцесса.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Не задумывался ли ты, что единственная причина, по которой она захочет уничтожить мир, это потому, что ее заперли?
While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock.
Кстати, вот так вот будут двигаться картинки, потому что я двигаю мышкой. Если не двигать, стоит спокойно, а двигаю вслед за движением мыши вот.
Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up. And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation. Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything. Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
Так. Да забудь, я не стану этого
Are you
делать.
serious? No, you have to do it.
Кто-нибудь другой может это сделать?
Unfortunately, you're the only one who can pull this off. I don't make the rules. I wish I did, but I don't.
А получу ли я что-то в награду за это?
Yes, but you'll have to slay her before you get it.
Слушай, я дойду до хижины и поговорю с принцессой, и если она так ужасна, как ты ее описываешь, тогда, может быть, я убью ее. Но я не обещаю ничего, пока не увижу ее лично.
Then I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hear her out, she could easily trap you in her web of lies. And the more you listen to her honeyed words, the harder it'll be to pull yourself out. Then each and every one of us is doomed. So sure, go, talk to her. See how that turns out for all of us. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Пройти в хижину.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Ладно, возьмем клинок.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
И нам ничего не остается, как войти в подвал.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Итак, Ну, просто проверяю, как ты там.
Oh, it's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
Итак, наши варианты ответа. Я еще не принял решение.
How about you drop the knife and the two of us just talk?
Look how reasonable she's being. We should just drop the blade and talk things out. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
Итак, бросать его мы не будем, посмотрим, можно ли сделать что-то, держа его в руке.
You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you scared of me? Because you should be.
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this.
Итак. Что, если она не блефует? Что, если она убьет нас?
You go into this expecting to die, you're going to die.
Hesitating? Why don't you drop the knife and the two of us can be civilized with each other?
Я не стану бросать нож.
Then I'm not talking to you.
Ну и ладно, будем оставаться в тупике.
I guess we are.
For the love of everything, just slay her already. Or drop the blade. Do something.
Уставиться на принцессу, не отпуская клинка.
You stare at the princess, squinting fiercely. She squints back. The two of you are gonna do this forever, aren't you? You'll have to blink eventually. Just make a choice.
Бросить клинок.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
Так. Ого. Начало отношений? Ты со мной заигрываешь?
Don't jump to any weird conclusions. We're two people who have met each other. By definition, we have a relationship.
Я здесь, потому что ты вроде как можешь уничтожить мир.
Don't just tell her that.
That's cute. Do you believe that? Do you think I'm some sort of monster? If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous?
Итак. И я надеялся, что ты мне расскажешь.
Ending the world seems like an awful lot for just one person to do. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. That doesn't sound right to me. And I don't think it sounds right to you either. Otherwise, we'd be killing each other instead of talking.
She has a point. There's a reason I've been telling you to question the situation, and there's a reason you've listened.
So, I could tell you that I'd lead a quiet life in the woods, or that I'd open an orphanage, or that I'd do any other number of good things that I'm sure you think you want to hear. But you don't really know me, do you? What can my word possibly be worth in a situation like this?
She's right about one thing. Her word isn't worth anything.
Like I said, it's all about trust. Blind trust. So do you trust me, the prisoner, the victim, the princess clearly incapable of ending the world? Or do you trust whoever put me here?
О, как оно мигнуло-то.
She's wrong. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch no less.
Итак. Как давно ты уже здесь?
Too long.
Again, she offers no specifics. No matter how hard you try, you'll never get a straight answer out of her.
И как тебя зовут?
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
И опять нету ответа. Ладно, мы достаточно поговорили.
Have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here.
Я собираюсь подержать тебя здесь заперти, может быть, недолго. Мы сможем узнать друг друга получше, пока я не решу, что делать.
That seems like a pretty good compromise. Leaving her alive is too risky. If you don't deal with her soon, she will find a way out.
One way or another, I'm going to find a way out of here. You can make it easier for both of us if you help. And if you don't, I can promise that you'll come to regret that decision.
You have to make a choice. Let's hope for all our sakes it's the right one.
Я сделал свой выбор, я запираю ее в подвале.
I know you think this is a fair compromise, but it isn't. No one wins here. It's a chance we'll have to take. We can make this work. If we just stay here and keep watch, no one has to die.
You're making a mistake.
You turn your back to the princess and make your way to the stairs.
It won't be long before I slip these chains. And once I'm out of here, there will be hell to pay for leaving me behind.
Slip these chains? She can't, right? She needed our help to get out of here. But either way, she dropped her mask, didn't she? You can still turn around and finish the job.
Нет, мы держимся плана и запираем ее в
Be the
подвале.
death of all of us, but fine. Have it your way. You close the basement door, locking it behind you and quickly barricading it with the heavy wooden table that once held the blade. Okay, we can make this work. You settle in against the far wall to watch the basement door. It isn't long before you start to drift off, your eyelids heavy with fatigue. But sleep doesn't come. Instead, your rest is broken by a piercing, wailing voice calling out to you from the other side of the door.
I know you're still there. Why don't you make things easier on yourself and let me out? It's not like this little door will hold for very long anyways. Oh, it's probably a good idea to try to get back on my good side.
She sounds terrifying. Like she's less of the princess you saw and more like something out of a nightmare. As she violently rattles the door, you do your best to shut her out of your mind.
When I get out of here, I'm going to pick you apart piece by piece. I won't forget what you did, and I'll never forgive it. You don't know the kind of enemy you've made tonight.
It doesn't sound like she's getting any weaker. No, it doesn't.
Так. Так это все было обманом, да? Ты на самом деле не невинная и безобидная. Ты даже не принцесса, ты чудовище.
I could be innocent and harmless, if I wanna be. Teasing me with fresh air and a chance to finally live freely doesn't inspire me to play nice.
You put the princess's threats out of your mind as best you can and huddle up against the wall. You jolt awake in the middle of the night to silence in the cabin. The ruckus has stopped, and the door to the basement is ajar, its lock broken, and the table shoved out of the way. Where is she?
Thanks for helping me get out of that awful basement.
You try and stumble to your feet, but as the princess draws near, it's as though your body simply stops working. It isn't all at once. The paralysis comes in waves. First your toes go numb, and then your feet, and then your legs. You lie prone on the floor of the cabin, unable to do anything but witness her approach. Whose side are you on? Yours, of course. But I have a duty to uphold the truth. Lying about the facts of the situation doesn't change them.
So helpless. I can take my time with you, can't I?
She steps closer, one silent footfall at a time, cocking her head in curiosity as you feel your organs shutting down one by one.
Or maybe I can't take my time with you. You don't look well. A little green around the gills. What a shame. If you'd only helped me get out of here, we could have done such wonderful things together.
Your lungs stop drawing in breath, and your heart freezes in your chest. You have seconds left.
I'd say better luck next time, but we both know this is the end, don't we?
It can't be. This can't actually be how everything ends. I'm sorry, but it is. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Понятно. О, глава 2. Кошмар. Ничего себе.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Ага. Но я умер, что я тут
I
делаю?
can assure you that you're not dead. And to answer your second question, you're here to slay the princess. I literally told you that a second ago. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Shh. What if he hears us? That's a very good question, little voice. What if he does hear you? Shit. I think you'll find yourselves very hard-pressed to keep any secrets from me. Not that it matters right now, because like I said, this is the first time we've met. Still, I'd rather not get off on the wrong foot. We've a world to save after all.
Итак, два варианта ответа. Развернуться, уйти, пойти к хижине и исследовать. Предположим, что я говорю правду, и все это уже действительно было. Почему я должен слушать тебя? Почему мне не должно быть плевать?
Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. You died last time, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me. We couldn't trust either of you, and as far as I'm concerned, we still can't. All we did was lock her away. And how'd that work out for you? No comment. Well then, congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right.
Понятно.
And your solution is to send us back in there. Do you want us to slay the princess, or do you want the princess to slay us? Obviously, I want you to slay her. One of you poses a threat to the world, and the other doesn't. Anyways, I believe your other question was something along the lines of, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We were killed by the princess, and now everyone's right back where they started. Sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Speak for yourself. From my perspective, there were plenty of consequences. I'm never going to forget the way she just made us stop working. And that's only scratching the surface. If what you said is true, it begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or have you found yourself in another world altogether? If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died? Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end to everyone and everything, just like I told you she would? If she brought an end to everything and everyone, how are we supposed to stop her? What do you want from us? I want you to succeed. You'll find a way. You're the only one who can.
Итак, подожди, давай поговорим об этой принцессе.
Just be quick about it.
Мгм. Одно ее присутствие в конце выключило все мои органы. Каким к черту образом я должен справиться с этим?
Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me. Don't talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job and save the world.
Кто запер ее в этом подвале? Что это за место?
People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
Так, еще варианты. Если люди заперли ее, почему они не убили ее? Почему это легло на мои, плечи?
Look, I'm not supposed to say this, but it's because you're special.
Я особенный. Я дивергент. Мама, я
Call
дивергент.
it a prophecy, if that helps, but it's just the way things are.
Блин, уникальная снежинка.
You can't just goad us into doing something by calling us special. It's manipulative. Why are you trying to manipulate us? I don't know, I kinda like being special. Okay, fine. Maybe you can goad him into doing something, but he's not even the one who makes the decisions here. I'm not goading you into doing anything. You already know the princess is dangerous. All I'm trying to say is that you have to be the one to deal with her. I know it doesn't seem fair, but that's just the way it is. And for what it's worth, I know you have it in you to finish the job. We don't. You saw what happened to us last time. We need to leave.
Ты темнишь, что ты не договариваешь.
I told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult. If you want us to stand a chance against her, we need to be armed with information. What is she really capable of? How are we supposed to stop her? Not to sound like a broken record, but the less you know about her, the better things will go for all of us. I know it sounds like I'm hiding something, but you're just going to have to take me at my word. He isn't telling us everything he knows because he doesn't trust us, which means that we can't trust him. Stop talking yourself in neurotic circles and just get to the cabin already. Do you see the way he keeps pushing us? We have to get out of here.
Ну и раз уж я тут так у него все спрашивал, процитирую тебя. Она всего лишь принцесса. Как ты можешь такое говорить? Она, очевидно, нечто гораздо хуже.
She is just a princess. Whatever you think happened to you last time, just get it out of your head before you get to the cabin, and you'll be fine.
Это все.
Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
Так, что-то мне это все не нравится. Развернуться и уйти.
I was worried you might fall for his shit again, but this is good. Whatever answers there are to be found, they aren't here, and they definitely aren't there. Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave? Do you even know where you're going?
Так. Молча пойти в противоположную сторону от хижины.
Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin. That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. How convenient. Everything's back on track again. Maybe the world can still be saved after all.
Развернуться снова и уйти снова.
You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the stakes of the situation. If you don't do your job, everyone dies. Like, dies. Forever. But fine. You turn around and trek back down the path you came.
Wait, something isn't right. Can you still hear me? You're supposed to wind up back at the cabin again. But everything is getting fuzzy. What's going on? Where are we? It's finally happened, hasn't it? We finally cracked.
Мир вокруг тебя расслаивается, его физическая материя превращается в текстурированную пустоту. Тут тихо. Слышно далекий гул, звук из многих звуков. Волны пульсируют громче, когда нечто подбирается ближе. Конечности ощупывают ткани реальности. Они находят твое сознание и обвиваются вокруг него. Ты больше не один. Сопротивление. Пальцы проводят когтями по стеклянной поверхности твоей души. Разочарование. Этот сосуд заполнен тобой. Мне нужно нечто пустое, чтобы забраться внутрь. Мне нужно нечто подобное мне. Итак, это кошмар. Проснуться, погрузиться в сковывающие тебя мысли. Погрузиться. Необходимость. У тебя есть история, подлежащая завершению. Это единственный путь к нашему побегу. Толчок против твоей воли. Нет, ты не можешь вернуться не туда. Сожаление. Этот мир не подлежит восстановлению. Нам нужно соткать нечто новое. Предупреждающий жест. В этом мире мало нити. Не трать ее попусту. Я наше единственное спасение. Ага. Получил достижение отказ.
In the woods. And at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Итак, мы опять в главе 1. Ух. И за это я получил достижение Denial, отказ. Вернуться на свой судьбоносный путь или встретить судьбу. И The real slay the princess starts here. Фу, прости за английский. Короче, настоящее убийство принцессы начинается здесь. Ты узнаешь это, когда увидишь. Есть достижение. Ага.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
А вот теперь у нас начинается настоящая игра. Заметка. Вы можете пропустить ранее увиденный диалог кнопкой Tab на клавиатуре или R2 на контроллере. Обалдеть. История. Так, а что я управления не вижу? Ладно. Что ж, на этом серию закончим. И попробуем еще одну уже потом. Давай, пока.